Is it just me, or is anybody else annoyed with the fact that they keep bringing back Arturo in Casa de Papel? Because like, I feel like at this point, what's the point of him? Welcome back, guys. Happy quarantine, if that's a thing. But it's been a long time since I've done a video, and I blame myself for that and the work. But I thought that maybe I'd be doing more videos during this quarantine, but I'm wrong, because guess what? Work gets difficult when you have to work from home. Now, I can't complain because some people don't have that luxury, but I'm going a little bit crazy here, and I'm using that opportunity to record some videos so my sanity can be kept in check. So anyway, let's talk about La Casa de Papel season 4, or Money Heist, whatever we like to call it in English. Anyway, it's a long overdue video because I actually loved the season 1 and 2 of this show. Season 3, not so much because it started off slow. And now let's talk about season 4, because season 4, it starts off with a bang, because if you guys remember from the previous season, spoilers up ahead. Last season, Nairobi got shot, which I thought that was going to be the end of her, because it seemed so dramatic and built up that the pregnant chick used her own son against her to like bring her out to the window so they can get a good shot on her and take her out. But apparently not. This season starts off with them playing doctor in operation, and basically they saved Nairobi, which was pretty cool. I actually like Nairobi. Nairobi is one of my favorite characters throughout this entire show, so I was happy that they saved her. But with that said, there's a lot of things that go on in this season. I forget that the show is now 8 episodes long, which in a way it's good for the show, because I feel like if it was any longer, this season would have been total crap. And I say that because I don't think this season was as great. I think it's a little bit better than season 3, because season 3 to me starts off very slow with the whole Tokyo and Rio on an island, you know, doing their thing, and then it's just I just felt like that didn't fit in so well into the story building. But this season, I like the fact that it starts off with a bang and it just goes right into the action. It throws us into, you know, what are the next steps, how are they gonna get out, like the gold is still being melted into like little pebbles. And I also like the fact on how the professor escaped that situation where he believed that Raquel had died. Another thing, I hated the fact that in the last season they revealed that Raquel was actually alive and not dead. Like, why would they show us that at the end of that episode? Let us believe that she's dead until this season. But anyway, we know that Raquel is alive, and the professor doesn't know until a couple episodes later. And I like how he escaped that situation. You know, he kind of gets brave and just decides to put on his like nerd hat and just get himself out of it by getting stuck with a bull. And then I always forget to mention this guy in any of my reviews, or I guess in the previous review, but Marsella to me probably has to be one of the most interesting characters from this show, because we don't really know a lot about him, but he basically does everything the professor tells him to do. It's like the go-to guy if you're in a lot of trouble. Like, I love the fact that Marsella is involved in this show. And in a way, I kind of do like the mystery to this character, because there's nothing to know about him. I feel like there could be an episode completely devoted to him and we still would be missing some parts. I do like the fact that they turned one of the officers from the tent where they are basically playing vigilant and viewing what's going inside the bank. I like that he was able to deliver the message to Raquel, letting her know that the professor knows that she's alive. That way she wouldn't rat on them and basically give them up. Palermo also, in a way, I have a love-hate thing with him. I like how he is. He's very like direct and he's like obsessive, and we also find out that he was in love with Berlin, which, by the way, I love Berlin, but I kind of get tired of his random ass story. Like, I get that this was his plan, but I just feel like sometimes those scenes takes me out of the action, because like I said, this season already started off action-packed, so why slow it down? Anyway, Palermo to me was both a hit and miss in the season, because I like the fact that he was kind of like causing issues to the team, especially when Nairobi was dying, and then out of nowhere he separates completely from the group and he gets handcuffed right next to Gandia and the other hostages. So I kind of like that. I like that within the group they're having conflicts. And also Tokyo decides to take charge of the whole operation, and that's why Palermo kind of goes rogue. You know, he's kind of pissed off that nobody's gonna listen to him, so he's like, fuck it, let's just let Tokyo do her thing. But the only thing that sucks about that is that Tokyo only is in charge for a couple episodes, or not even an episode, I can't remember, but it's like short-lived, and she gets captured by Gandia. And then I do like Gandia, even though his arc was maybe like 3 episodes long. I think he was such a menace to the team, especially Super Rogue, where he was pretty much going to kill every single person in that room. He added a huge elements of surprise to the team, and I really like that, up until he became bulletproof, because it just got to the point where there was no way of killing this dude. I said a lot of things that I liked about this season. So let's talk about things that I didn't like, because there are a couple of things that I didn't like. For example, let's start off the bat with Arturo. I don't see the point of having this guy back in the storyline again. I don't know if he's part of the producers or some big person that was involved with Casa de Papel, but I just don't see him being part of this storyline anymore. I get that his ex-wife or girlfriend is in there, or his baby mama, but they basically turned Arturito into a pervert in this season, and I don't see the point of that. And then also, one thing I didn't like I said, I love Nairobi in all the seasons, but in this season, she was kind of like put off by the first gunshot, and then Gandia almost kills her with a pillow, or suffocates her with a pillow, and then gets shot point blank in the head and ends her story. And the thing about that is, okay, fine, they killed her off, maybe she had a great send-off, and in my opinion, no, she did not get a great send-off, because they already tried to kill her twice. So by the time they actually killed her, I basically have no reaction to her dying, especially with the soundtrack that they played while she was dying. It was like kind of like an upbeat rock song, which just didn't make sense. Like, why would they use that song when somebody just died, especially a character that's very close to the fan base? In a way, Nairobi's death was kind of predictable. I mean, after like they save her life, you would think like, oh, okay, it's pretty, you know, she's gonna be lived throughout this show. But then we keep getting like snippets of her and the professor saying, you know, like, oh, can I have your child? And you know, all these things, which kind of like, I don't know, this kind of like a cliche in shows and movies where like they spend so much time on one character, it could mean only one thing, and that's that death is coming upon them. There were some weird song choices throughout this show, and I know they did that in season 1, season 2, season 3, but sometimes I feel like some of the sound effects like that just, those sound effects just kind of just build up into like something super hype. I feel like that just drowns out the audio every single time for me. And it's funny because I can understand Spanish, I speak it, and even when I watch the show, it's like, what the hell did he say? Like, I just get so distracted by the sound that I legit have to read the subtitles in Spanish, which makes no sense to me. But that could just be a personal problem. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Now, the biggest thing for me in this season was the Paris plan, which at first sounded cool, but then at the very end, it really doesn't make sense. So Raquel goes to testify and give them all the details, gives and lays out the entire plan. The professor makes a decision for her to be taken from where she was, testifying in this parking garage, and basically airlifted and thrown into the bank. I'm pretty sure they're going to explain why, but this being part of the last episode, it just didn't make sense to me. Besides the fact that, okay, we're giving the team validation that Raquel is alive by putting her in front of their eyes. Yeah, I get that. But at the same time, it's like, the professor could have totally just called him and be like, yeah, she's alive, bro. Like, yeah, like, I don't see it. I guess we'll find out in season 4. And with that said, you know, like, this guy, Gandia, is just like the Terminator at this point. Like, he's not gonna die. And it doesn't seem like they killed him at the end. So I'm wondering, like, what they're gonna do with this character next season. I just hope they don't just tie him back up, because I feel like part of the exciting portion of this show was Gandia, because he was rogue. He was like a freaking mercenary, like just out there to kill people. The pregnant chick, in a way, I liked her in season 3 because she was a new character. I didn't really know much about her, but I feel like a lot of her moves in this show just became kind of predictable, and she was just kind of trying to act tough most of the time. I just felt like, okay, this is just some chick that just wants to freaking be like the badass cop, and it just didn't come off as good to me, especially with the way that the ending happened. I don't know about you guys, but I could tell that this was going to happen at the end. So to me, yes, it is a cliffhanger because we don't know what's going to happen next. But I just felt like her character wasn't as great as season 3. So with that said, guys, those are my thoughts on season 4 of Casa de Papel. If I were to rate it, I think I'd go with a 3.5. I don't know, not that high, maybe a 3, who knows. But let me know what you guys thought about this season in the comments down below. I know a couple people didn't really like the ending either, so I'm glad I'm not alone on that. With that said, guys, I'm gonna try to do another video hopefully next week, who knows, depending on how quarantine goes for me. Maybe I'll do a video on Tiger King. I don't know yet, because that show or that docu-series on Netflix was pretty crazy. I also watched The Platform, which is also in Spanish, and I kind of had some thoughts about that. Kind of liked it, kind of didn't like it. I mean, it's just strange. I've been watching a bunch of like random old movies, like just cause I have had time. But yeah, let me know if you guys want me to review anything else down in the comments down below. If you guys like this video, you guys like my channel or are new to my channel, make sure you guys give this video a like and subscribe to my channel. But as always, guys, stay tuned.